80 degrees, the sun is shining outside of left field from Athletic Park in Wausau, Wisconsin. Welcome everybody, Zach Linfield with you. So glad to have everybody along as we get you ready for the series finale between these two clubs, Madison and Wausau, here on YouTube Live. Wausau took game one of the series last night in Madison by a final score of 6-4 in 10 innings. The Mallards loaded the bases in the bottom of the ninth inning with just one out, and then a pop out of Jackson Chatterton and a strikeout of Ryan Sprock put away the side for Cesar Avila, and the Mallards have a chance to scratch back here on Friday afternoon as they made the 2-hour trek up north to Wausau to finish up this series between the two clubs. And the fourth game overall played between these two so far this season. And let's get to our starting lineup today for the Madison Mallards on the road. Leading off the right fielder, Jake Holcroft. Batting second, the third baseman, Keenan Taylor. Batting third, the second baseman, Ryan Sprock. Batting fourth as the DH today, the big man, Owen Jackson. Batting fifth and doing the catching, Canyon Brown. Batting sixth, hitting his first home run a night ago, first baseman, Jake Goolsby. Batting seventh and in center is Isaiah Jackson. Batting eighth, the shortstop, Mikey Kluska. And rounding things out, the left fielder, Mike Gupton. The Mallards get set to face off against the right-hander, Travis Lutz. A three-pitch mix, fastball, slider, changeup. High 80s, low 90s with the fastball. Lutz of Bradley Brave in Peoria, Illinois. First pitch of the ball game today is a fastball for a called strike into the outer corner to Jake Holcroft. On 0-1, a fastball is streamed in for strike two from Travis Lutz. So Holcroft, Taylor, and Sprock to lead off things for the Mallards. That's chopped back up the middle. The shortstop ranging over to his left. Sherry delivers a throw to first base. That's just in time as the first base umpire, Matthew Metcalf, punches him out. On the defensive side of things for Wausau, Adair, Pearson, McGinnis left to right across the outfield. At the corners is Witter and Baker. And up the middle, Sherry and Donahoe. Doing the catching today for Travis Lutz is Schroeder. Keenan Taylor digs in. First pitch fastball, a called strike. 4 pitches, 4 strikes for Travis Lutz. That was a really nice play by Sherry. At shortstop, he was playing deep in the hole, had to range over way to his left. There's a changeup for a called strike. Little up and in to Keenan, but it's 0-2. On 0-2, a slider is way outside. The Mallards now down at 5-6, began the season 3-1 as they trailed Green Bay by a game that entire time as the Rockers began undefeated. There's a low breaking ball from Lutz to make it 2 balls and 2 strikes with Taylor. But since the Mallards have endured a couple of really tough losses, only one that they really let get out of their hands, a fastball rides away, 3 balls, 2 strikes. And that was game 2 of that series at Wisconsin Rapids. The Mallards led both games in Mequon against Lakeshore during that long 6-game road trip. The payoff pitch, that's into the air down the right field line and sliced foul. And Taylor will do it again at 3-2. But the Chinooks, they took care of the Mallards in comeback fashion both of those nights. For the second time, the 3-2 to Taylor. He takes a swing at it into right field. Charging right fielder McGinnis. And that ball is caught in shallow right field. He laid out for it. Took a moment to see whether or not he completed the catch. And he sure indeed did. Three-hole hitter Ryan Sprock digs in for the Mallards, the second baseman. And he takes a fastball into the outer corner. 2 ball games so far played for Ryan. He has been a world beater in both games. A 4-for-4 debut 2 nights ago as he takes a swing and fouls it off down the right field line. 4-for-4 with 2 walks in his debut. And that 18-4 win against Kenosha. And then last night, 2 more singles. And he also ended up being the extra runner on second base. He takes an awkward hack. And he got a piece of it. Schroeder and Lutz are making their way back to the dugout. And the home plate umpire, Matt Beaver, who we will touch on in a little bit, called it a foul ball. The 2-strike pitch from Lutz. An elevated fastball. Now 1-2. So Ryan Sprock has began his Mallards career 6 for 9. This AB number 10. He swings, loses his bat, and strikes out. On a fastball up and away. So the first strikeout for Travis Lutz as he faces the minimum of Mallards in the first inning here on your home of Madison Mallards baseball. No score, bottom of the first inning. Zach Linfield here with you as the Mallards take on Wausau for a second consecutive game. Here is the starting lineup for the host this afternoon, the Wausau Woodchucks. Leading off center fielder Dalton Pearson. In the 2-hole today, right fielder Michael McGinnis. Batting third, the second baseman Jesse Donahoe. Batting cleanup, third baseman Brent Witter. Batting fifth, the shortstop Simon Sherry. Batting sixth, the left fielder Mike Adair. Batting seventh, the catcher Jacob Schroeder. Batting eighth, the first baseman Jake Baker. And rounding things out for Brock Moss, DH Vincent Samuel. That Wausau starting lineup gets set to face off against the 6'5" sophomore and native of Wauwatosa, Wisconsin, the 20-year-old left-hander from Northern Illinois, Tommy Meyer. One start so far for Tommy this season, and he was lights out in his first ball game against the Lakeshore Chinooks over in Mequon. 5 innings, 4 hits, just 1 run. Did not walk a single Chinook, and he punched out 5. Pearson, McGinnis, Donahoe to lead things off for the Chucks in the bottom of the first inning. And Myers' first pitch rides away. On 1-0 to Pearson. Fastball just off the chalk. Two balls, no strikes. Tommy comes home and throws fastball just high. Now 3-0, which is uncharacteristic of Meyer. You just heard his statistics in his first start against Lakeshore. Here comes a 3-0 pitch. And there's a fastball for a called strike. Matt Beaver behind the plate today. Alan Bryan over at third. And over at first base, Matthew Metcalf. Here comes the 3-1. That's fouled off behind home plate. So Tommy Meyer has climbed back in the count to make it 3-2. And the pitch is on its way. Swings and misses, and Canyon Brown will make the throw down to first base. Tommy Meyer threw 3 consecutive balls to begin that count, then rides fastball away, and strikes out Dalton Pearson. Michael McGinnis will dig in. First pitch from Meyer. There's a fastball up and away. 0 for 2 on the potential first pitch strike so far in this outing. Mallards defense, Gumpton, Jackson, Holcroft, left to right across the outfield. On 1-0 from Meyer. There's a swing from McGinnis. It's popped up. Into right center field. Holcroft over, and the lefty will make the catch. Now Jesse Donahoe for Wausau. And to finish that defensive alignment for Madison, Taylor and Goolsby, left to right on the corners and up the middle, Kluska and Sprock. Canyon Brown does the catching. Canyon had the day off a night ago after catching 3 consecutive. Jaden Lobliner was the Mallards catcher. He went 1 for 5. There's a big wave and a miss from Donahoe. The lefty's front foot, which is the right one, slipped in the box. Here comes the 0-1 from Meyer, and a sweeper's in there for strike 2. 4-seam fastball, 2-seam fastball, slider, curveball, changeup. And the changeup is the go-to for Tommy Meyer. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. And that bounces nowhere close. In the game a night ago, it was a game that the Mallards would answer back almost immediately every time that Wausau would cause any damage. Here comes the 1-2 from Meyer, back up the middle, and it's gloved by the shortstop, Kluska, but it rolls into center field. It bounced off Kluska's glove. Tommy Meyer had to get out of the way quickly, and Jesse Donahoe has a base hit.
Now then, the executive cleanup batter of the game, third baseman, Brent Witter.
So Kluska gets his first nod at shortstop in 4 days. With how good the bat of Jackson Chatterton has been, it's tough to keep him out of the lineup. Donahoe takes his lead off first base. Here's Brent Witter. First pitch to him, right down Broadway to make it 0-1. A perfect day today. 80 degrees, sunny from Athletic Park in Wausau. Slider low and in. 1 ball, 1 strike from Tommy. The key to his success in his first start at Lakeshore was his ability to keep innings very short. He didn't get into 3-2, 2-2 very often. Comes home, back up the middle, and it bounces off Meyer. It's going to fall into no man's land, and that'll be a single for Brent Witter. So on back-to-back days, a Woodchuck has hit a hard ball immediately back to the pitcher. Cade Langcourt got hit with a line drive a day ago. And now Tommy Meyer is hit with the ball from Brent Witter. So Tommy will get one warm-up pitch. Might get a couple more as Sean Brown stands to the right side of the mound. Home plate umpire Matt Beaver stands to the left. In the meantime, Donahoe will be at second. Brent Witter will be at first. Matt Beaver has given the okay. And Simon Sherry, who was the one that hit Lanecor a day ago, will step in.
Simon Sherry.
So here comes the first pitch to Sherry. Meyer looks in, delivers, and a fastball rides inside, 1-0. So after a strikeout and a flyout to begin the bottom of the first inning, back-to-back singles have put runners on first and second base. On 1-0 to Sherry, he takes a swing and flies it into right field. Long run for Holcroft over into foul territory, and he'll watch it sail away. No score, bottom of the first inning from Athletic Park in Wausau. Donahoe off second, Witter off first for the first place Woodchucks. Meyer stares in, delivers home. A fastball is somehow not called a strike into the outer corner. Now 2-1. Meyer comes set. Ryan Sprock playing mind games with Donahoe back at second base. The pitch is a fastball. Same exact spot, called for a strike this time in favor of Tommy Meyer. Now 2-2. Holds his glove right under the armpit on the right side. Then comes set just above the belt in the aqua blue uniforms today. Meyer throws home. That's into the air, into center field. Isaiah Jackson has it measured, and he will appear out of the shadows in the deepest part of center field to make the catch. Two runners stranded for Wausau's offense. Tommy Meyer gets the job done as we head to the second inning on your home of Madison Mallards baseball. Owen Jackson, Canyon Brown, Jake Goolsby for the Mallards in the top of the second inning after Travis Lutz put him down 1-2-3 in the first frame of this ball game. And the big man steps in from the left side. Owen, a night ago, a big swing late in the game, chops one foul down the right field side. Very efficient first inning for Travis Lutz out of Bradley University, teammates with the Mallards' Jackson Chatterton, who is not in the order today. There's a swing and a ground ball towards second. Perfect pickup for Donahoe. An easy flip to first base, and Owen Jackson retired for the first out in the second inning. Now the Mallards backstop Canyon Brown. Lutz only threw 15 pitches in the top of the first, which went by in a blink of an eye. Canyon back in the order today after Jaden Lobliner did the catching a night ago. Fastball off the plate, ball one. Lutz primarily just a three-pitch mix. Fastball, slider, changeup. Fastball in the high 80s. Can touch the low 90s as Canyon takes a rip and fouls it off. And Jackson Chatterton was able to give the Mallards the scouting report on Travis Lutz. Before the game today, he stood up on the bench in the Mallards dugout down the first base side. He said, hitters, you have to attack early in counts against the sinking fastball. There's a called strike to make it 1-2 into the outside corner. Because if he steals strikes, Lutz can place his slider very well late in counts. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Canyon Brown. There's the slider to make it 2-2 way outside. But he encouraged right-handed batters to stand right over the plate because Travis Lutz, he led the conference with Bradley University in hit by pitch, especially to righties. That ball is chopped foul down the third base side. And for lefties, he encouraged them to be somewhere between in and middle in the box on the left side. Said lefties hit for plenty of power against Lutz. Fastball up and in. And that's exactly the scouting report from Jackson Chatterton. The fastball to righties will ride up and in quite a bit. And Canyon Brown, labeled as the most durable player on this Mallards ball club, has pretty much gotten used to being hit with a fastball as he fouls off the 3-2. Five hitters to the plate so far for the Madison offense. 2 of them have seen full counts. On 3-2, fastball high, Canyon Brown is the Mallards' first base runner this afternoon. That's a good-looking AB from Canyon. He was patient, fell behind 1-2, fouled off the 3-2 one time, and then earned himself a walk. He struck out a few times in the early going, but his strikeout total this season is 6, and he now has 6 walks. There's a ground ball, packs the middle. Diving is the second baseman, Donahoe. It'll ricochet off his glove, and into first base is Jake Goolsby, who continues to hit the ball hard. And the Mallards have 2 base runners on base here in the second inning. Scored as a single. Goolsby a night ago, his first home run at Warner Park. He then walked and singled twice before striking out as the final out in the ball game. Here's the lefty Isaiah Jackson. First pitch to him is roped into left field. On comes the left fielder Adair. That'll drop in front of him. Coming home from second base is Canyon Brown. He'll be in standing up, and Isaiah Jackson has an RBI single to push the Mallards in front 1-0 in the away second frame. So following the ground out of Owen Jackson, 3 consecutive Mallards have reached base. Brown, Goolsby, and Jackson. And now here is Mikey Kluska. First pitch to him from Lutz. His slider away. Good stop by the catcher Schroeder. 1 start so far for Travis Lutz. Same hometown as Jackson Chatterton, Peoria, Illinois. Kluska waits on 1-0 and takes changeup low. Now 2 balls and no strikes. 3 games pitched so far for Lutz. That was on the hitting side. Made 1 appearance on the mound, 2 innings. As Kluska puts one in the air down the first base side. It's caught by the first baseman. Wow, Baker went up into the air. He snatched it, and he almost stepped on first base. But it was hit so hard by Kluska that Isaiah Jackson barely had a chance to get off the bag. So now, bottom of the order, Mike Gupton will dig in. And that one game that Lutz threw in, that was a week ago at Green Bay. 2 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run. Gupton swinging at the first pitch and fouls it off towards Donnie Scott on the third base side, and Donnie makes a nice grab. One strike in the count to Mike Gupton. The pitch from Lutz. That's on the ground right side. That'll chop through. From second base, coming home is Jake Goolsby. The throw from the right fielder McGinnis is bounced high over the catcher Schroeder. Isaiah Jackson will stop at third, and Mike Gupton will go to second base. So Mike Gupton, a single that scores Jake Goolsby, and then an error on the right fielder McGinnis, which allows Isaiah Jackson to dig into third and Mike Gupton to move to second base. So Madison now holds on to a 2-0 lead as the lineup card flips over. Here's Jake Holcroft fouling off the first pitch. And Matt Beaver, the home plate umpire, is going to call catcher's interference on Schroeder. That's the catcher. He said that his glove reached out too far, and Jake Holcroft, who has a tendency to reach all the way across the plate to swing at a pitch off the dish, apparently got a piece of Schroeder's glove, and sometimes the catcher's interference call can toe the line with exactly that rule. Brock Moss continues to let Matt Beaver hear his thoughts from the third base dugout. So now the bases are loaded with Keenan Taylor coming to the plate. First pitch to him, fastball, a called strike. We saw 1 catcher's interference call all of last season. And now 1 here from Athletic Park in Wausau to load the bags. Mallards 2-0. Keenan checked his swing, and the appeal down to first base is a no-go for Matthew Metcalf. Not too much power in the bat of Keenan Taylor so far. There is potential for that bat to come alive at some point. Here's a ground ball towards short. The shortstop Sherry will unload across the diamond, scooped up by first baseman Baker, and that'll do it for the away second inning. The Mallards pick up 2 on swings from Isaiah Jackson and Mike Gupton. It's a 2-0 lead. Madison on top of Wausau from your home of Madison Mallards baseball. 2-0 Mallards. Mike Adair, Jacob Schroeder, and Jake Baker. Due up for the Woodchucks against the Mallards. 6'5" southpaw Tommy Meyer. Lefty on lefty to begin the home second inning. First pitch to Adair is up and in. Tommy Meyer rarely overthrows. Second pitch to Adair is in there for strike one. A 5-pitch mix, but primarily uses 3. On 1-1, Meyer comes home and misses with fastball up and in. 4-seamer, 2-seamer, a slider, curve, and a circle change. The circle change is his go-to pitch. That's slapped into left center field and over the head of the shortstop Kluska. A leadoff single for Mike Adair. So 3 hits already for Wausau. Nothing to show for it quite yet, as the catcher Jacob Schroeder will dig in. The fastball isn't overcharged with velocity. It's consistent. 86 to 89 miles an hour from Meyer, up to 91. First pitch to Schroeder is a changeup high. Meyer added the slider just last year. He always wanted to throw it, but he said he never really needed it as a fastball misses away. Last year when he got on campus at Northern Illinois, he worked on it a ton in the fall last year, and he's pretty much thrown it ever since as one of his more effective pitches. Now 3-0 as the fastball rides outside. On 3-0, Meyer misses up and out, and it's a 4-pitch walk to Jacob Schroeder. So 2 on and nobody out for Jake Baker. Tommy began the collegiate season this spring injured back in January, so Tommy didn't travel the first couple of weeks to the earlier road trips for Northern Illinois. He's dealt with some stuff lingering throughout the college season, so he got a slow start to the year, and that's why his numbers were a bit misleading. But before his freshman year, he picked NIU because out of high school, he really liked the relationship he had already built with the coaches. And the facilities were a big reason he liked DeKalb. First pitch fastball, a called strike to the lefty, Jake Baker. Adair off second, over at first base is Schroeder. Mallard's defense plays this lefty straight up. On 0-1, there's the sweeper to make it 0-2. It went right by the front elbow of the lefty Jake Baker. And a strikeout would be big to get for Tommy Meyer because these Mallards defensively have been pretty good at turning the double play. The errors have still been a consistent issue. On 0-2, a curveball just misses the outer part of the plate, about a half a ball's width off. Just the second time last night the Mallards played errorless baseball through their first 11 games. There is another slider, this one outside again, 2 balls and 2 strikes with the first baseman Baker. Three hits apiece for both clubs. The 2-ball, 2-strike pitch is another breaking ball off the plate, and Tommy Meyer in danger of loading up the bases with nobody out in the bottom of the second inning. Baker taps on the plate once, waves the bat out twice towards Meyer. Meyer comes set above the belt, delivers home. And there's ball 4 as he loses him after getting ahead 0-2.
Now batting the designated hitter, Vincent Samuel.
Well, now you're forced to have to try and take care of the DH Vincent Samuel out of the 9-hole. You do not want to let Dalton Pearson have a chance to clear the bases. Meyer will go back to the windup for the first pitch to Samuel. And first pitch he sees is fouled back to the screen. Wausau in their home white uniforms this afternoon. The Mallards in their road aqua blue uniforms. A different combination today in comparison to the combination they wore the first time at Athletic Park when they wore the Mallard hat, which has now been tossed away pretty much. A slider into the outer corner, 0-2. Bases loaded, full of Woodchucks. 2-0 Mallards here from Athletic Park. Meyer into his motion on 0-2. Fastball way outside. Adair at third, Schroeder at second. And Jake Baker, the base runner at first base. Here comes the 1-2 from Meyer. He takes a hack at it and fouls it off over the right side. Strong leadoffs for all three Woodchucks base runners. And the pitch is by the swinging bat of Vincent Samuel. So a massive out for Tommy Meyer to get in the second inning.
Now batting the center fielder, Dalton Pearson.
So Tommy's second strikeout gets the 9-hole hitter. Lineup card flips over Dalton Pearson. Tommy will stick with the windup. The first pitch is the slider that bends in through the back door. The left-handed arm to the right-handed bat of Dalton Pearson. Waves that bat out once towards Tommy. From the windup on 0-1. That misses the corner this time, now 1-1. The last time the Mallards were here, they committed 6 errors. Here comes the 1-1. There's a swing and a miss from Dalton Pearson. The center fielder falls behind 1-2. Adair off third, Schroeder off second. Baker is off first base. Mallards lead 2-0. Corners are in on 1-2. Fastball is elevated. Now 2 balls and 2 strikes with Pearson. Here comes the 2-2 from Tommy. It's on the ground towards third. Kluska will dive and make a stop. He will get up and make no throw anywhere. Wausau has cut into the lead as Adair comes home. It's an RBI infield single for Dalton Pearson. So the bases are still loaded for Wausau in the bottom of the second inning. Mallards still have a 2-1 lead. Singles from Jackson and Gupton gave Madison the edge. There's a swing and a foul ball from McGinnis. Two late inning losses for the Mallards in their last 2 games that they have dropped. Sandwiched in between those matchups was the 18-4 blowout win over Kenosha at Warner Park 2 nights ago. Fastball away makes it 1-1. On the 1-1 for Meyer. There's right over the heart of the plate to make it 1-2. Tommy likes to work quickly. Base is still loaded for Wausau. On 1-2, fastball up and away, evens up the count 2-2. McGinnis flew out into routine right his first time up. 2-2 from Tommy. Swing and a tap foul back behind home plate. Goolsby at first base is in. Taylor at third base is in. There's a swing and a miss, and another big K for Tommy Meyer. Third strikeout for Tommy. Utilizing the slider away, especially from righties. That's a tough pitch to pick up because you're not sure it's going to drop into the back door, into the K zone, and sometimes you're just forced to swing at it. So now Jesse Donahoe, 1 for 1 today. An inning ago he singled, takes a big hack at the first pitch and fouls it off behind home plate. Two-1 Madison, bases loaded in the bottom of the second inning from Athletic Park. On a 1. Fastball outside. Kenyon Brown reaches to his left and swipes it out of the air on a 86-mile-an-hour fastball from Tommy Meyer. Primarily used the four-seamer in his first start against Lakeshore. On 1-1, there's a pop-up behind home plate, and there isn't much space between home plate and the backstop here, so it will harmlessly fall out of play for Jesse Donahoe. Single, walk, strikeout, single, and then strikeout. On 1-2, big pitch from Meyer is outside on a slider away. Two balls and two strikes. Meyer from the windup raises his glove into his motion, kicks and deals. On 2-2, a called strike 3 sits him down. On pitch number 35 of the inning for Tommy Meyer, he strikes out Jesse Donahoe to leave him loaded. Mallards holding on to a 2-1 lead from Athletic Park in Wausau, Wisconsin, on your home of Madison Mallards baseball. Two-one lead for Wausau here on your home of Madison Mallards baseball. Ryan Sprock leads off. 3, 4, and 5 against Travis Lutz. First pitch, big swing and a miss from Sprock. So Tommy Meyer's day is done. He threw 55 total pitches, but he clips that 35 pitch mark in the bottom of the second inning, meaning his day is done due to Northwoods League pitching rules. A foul ball from Ryan Sprock makes it an 0-2 count. Sprock struck out swinging in the first inning against Lutz. Working from the stretch the entire way. Here comes the 0-2. That's barely off the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes to the Mallards' second baseman. Here it comes to Ryan, and he swings and misses on a curveball that's way outside. It just had some hang to it, maybe thought it would drop into the zone. And Sprock goes down swinging for a third consecutive AB, dating back to last night. And now Owen Jackson, the Mallards leading it 2-1. A slight shift against the big man. And the lefty takes fastball high, ball 1. The third baseman Witter is well off the bag. The shortstop Sherry is a couple steps to the left of our view in the press box of second base. On 1-0, fastball away, 2-0. The first baseman Baker pretty much hugs the line as Jackson hit a double down the first base line in the opener this season. There's a swing and a miss to make it 2-1. And that double was right down the chalk at Warner Park, and now Wausau has pretty much learned we're going to shift on this kid. The 2-1 pitch to Jackson is swung on and fouled off down the third base line. So maybe they'll take a couple more steps towards the defensive right side. The 2-2. And Owen takes just low. Travis Lutz was back turned to the home plate umpire, Matt Beaver, and thought he had strike 3. Brock Moss has been frustrated early with the umpiring crew. Here comes the payoff pitch. Jackson pops it up. Third base side, long run for Witter. He tracks it and will make the catch right in front of the Wausau dugout. The Mallards 2 runs on 3 hits. The Woodchucks 1 run on 4. As technically they have chased the Mallard starting left-hander Tommy Meyer. Here's the catcher Canyon Brown. Up and in, ball 1. He walked in the long second inning after Owen Jackson bounced out. Canyon came home to score on the Isaiah Jackson single. On 1-0, that's back up the middle, and Canyon Brown will roll one into center field. He has now been on twice in both at-bats. So now Madison and Wausau 4 hits apiece. And Jake Goolsby will dig in for the Mallards. Had just an incredible day last night at the plate, a bomb to right field, but he did strike out to end the game as he takes fastball into the outside corner. A perfect pitch, 0-1. He started to find that power for extra bases. There is a slider that is perfectly placed again into the low and outside corner to this lefty. Jake had the Mallards' first hit of today's ball game. He waits on the 0-2 from Lutz, comes home, and he swings on it and pops it up. The shortstop, Sherry, loses his glasses, but makes the catch. And that'll do it for the Mallards' third inning. Holding on to a 2-1 lead, heading to the home third from Wausau on your home of Madison Mallards baseball. Mallards leading 2-1, bottom of the third inning from Athletic Park in Wausau, Wisconsin. Sun shining over the left field wall that reads 304. Down the right field line, 316. New pitcher for the Mallards is the 6'2" right-hander from UNC, Will Simmons. His first pitch is a fastball inside to the cleanup hitter, Brent Witter. Witter, Sherry, and Adair for the Woodchucks, trailing by 1. From the stretch, Will Simmons comes home, fastball high, makes it 2-0. Witter, the second of the back-to-back singles in the first inning from Donahoe and the third baseman Witter. There's a bender in there for strike 1. Simmons, a native of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, decided to travel all the way across the country to North Carolina to play his collegiate baseball for the Diamond Heels. A fastball clips the zone for strike 2. That move from South Dakota to North Carolina, a big part of the commitment as the 2-2 bounces in. Full count. A big part of that was because Will had been a fan of the Tar Heels for a while. The Diamond Heels had started recruiting him early, and he wanted to be a part of what North Carolina's culture was. Here comes the payoff to Witter. That's bounced towards third. Keenan Taylor's first chance today. Unloads on a throw, and it's there to beat Witter by 2 full steps. North Carolina, they hit Will Simmons up very early in the process, which was a jumbled process to say the least, because he started getting calls during that awkward COVID recruiting period that a lot of these athletes had to go through that are currently on the field for Madison. He didn't get to play much travel or club baseball, which is where the majority of looks come from. First pitch fastball is bounced foul by Sherry down the third base line. So Will, he decided to sign with the recruiter from a program called Elite Sports Advising. And those advisors, they helped him a lot during that pandemic. Fastball up and in, now 1-1. They started sending different coaches, teams, video clips of Will Simmons tossing. And that was pretty much how he was discovered, especially by UNC. A slider perfectly into the outside part of the zone to make it 1-2 with the shortstop Simon Sherry. Represented the final out in the first inning. Fastball elevated, 2-2. On a preseason FaceTime call with Will, he just kind of laughed when I mentioned him and Nick Argento coming to Madison together. Slider up and in. A check swing and appeal down to first base, and Matthew Metcalf says no. So back-to-back full counts for Will Simmons to start his day on the mound. Relieving Tommy Meyer, who eclipsed that 35-pitch limit in the second inning. No longer allowed to enter for a new inning. On 3-2, it's a fastball ripped into the air, right center field. Holcroft chasing over and will make the catch as he enters the shadows in right center. Now Mike Adair, who led off the second inning, which resulted in 1 run and 3 being left on base. But Will and Nick, they're both from the greater Midwest region of the United States. They're locker buddies at UNC, now they're locker buddies in Madison. Really enjoys playing with Nick. First pitch fastball away from Adair. On 1-0, Simmons throws home to the lefty, and Adair takes low. Primarily just a 3-pitch mix for Will Simmons. A 2-seam fastball, a slider, and a changeup. But the 2-seamer is really his best pitch because of the movement that he has on it. There's the changeup high, now 3-0. But that 2-seam fastball, with the way he holds it, with more pressure on his index finger, allows the ball to move with arm side run away from a lefty. Fastball called strike. There it is. And he said, through synergy, the data that they use to go back and watch film, it also tracks data of where you throw pitches. The fastball, again, is inside for a called strike 2. So 3 full counts for Will Simmons here in the third. And he said consistently that pitch can get up to 16 inches of arm side run. The 3-2 was fouled back to the screen. "18 pitches this inning for Will Simmons. He has sat down the first 2 Woodchucks. On 3-2 again. There, swung on and fouled off. Back towards the on-deck man, Jacob Schroeder, who bent out of the way. Will works from the far first base side of the rubber. Comes set just at the belt. Stares in the 3-2 pitch. There's a fastball by the swinging bat of Adair, and Will Simmons, he picks up his first strikeout as he faces the minimum of Woodchucks in the home third. Mallards holding on to a 2-1 lead here on your home of Madison Mallards baseball. Bottom third of the order for Donnie Scott's crew here on the road from Athletic Park in Wausau, Wisconsin. Isaiah Jackson leads off. He'll be followed by Kluska and Gupton. In the away 4th inning, Travis Lutz goes back to work and misses with fastball away. One full season spent at Bradley as the 1-0 is ripped through the right side. Another single for Isaiah Jackson. He is 2 for 2 now today. Hit it way too hard for Donahoe at second base. And now Mikey Kluska for the Mallards. Has not hit the ball particularly well this season. He is just 2 of 14. 2 walks, a handful of strikeouts. He has been hit by a pitch as well, and he had a fantastic spring at Richmond. Was a late signing for the Mallards. A fastball into the outer corner for strike 1 from Lutz. Lutz will check over on Isaiah Jackson. In this one full year of spring baseball for Travis Lutz as he gets Kluska swinging on strike 2. His numbers weren't particularly great. 7.26 ERA, a 2-3 record, 53 1/3 innings pitched. 0-2 to Kluska. There's a called strike 3. Right over the middle of the plate, he took a fastball. There is strikeout number 3 for Travis Lutz. Here is Mike Gupton, who drove home Jake Goolsby in the second inning. Mallards leading 2-1. Another throw over to first base that gets away from the first baseman Baker, and Isaiah Jackson will stay put. Likely a smart move. Nick Fazio was there to tell him the whole way, the first base coach for the Mallards, stay, stay, stay. The first pitch to Mike Gupton is a fastball low and away. That's one thing that Gupton will have to continue to work on throughout this summer. He did not get much experience at the plate during his freshman season down in Raleigh with NC State as he takes a hack on this one. Rolls it towards third. Witter to Donahoe. The runner at first base, Gupton. You're not going to get him on a double play. And the fastest player in college baseball looked the part as he ran down to first base. In the meantime, it's a 5-4 fielder's choice. So the lineup card flips over, and Jake Holcroft will dig in. First pitch to Holcroft. That finds the outside corner for strike 1. Outside of the second inning for Travis Lutz, he has made pretty quick work of the Mallards. This is pitch number 60 of the day. And before that, he will check on Gupton. On 0-1, Gupton fakes taking off, and Holcroft will swat it off down the left field side. Jake has a very late swing. Most of his contact so far through just a handful of games in Madison has been to the left field side. His swing is very long, it's late. But when he barrels it up, Jake can hit for power. He had 7 home runs at Portland this spring. Fastball away, right to his feet with Schroeder as Mike Gupton had a hefty lead off first base. Good waste pitch from Travis Lutz. And Gupton will slide back in safe on another pickoff attempt. Lutz comes home with the 1-2. Holcroft takes away. Gupton trying to swipe second. He will do so. The ball will bounce away from shortstop Sherry and be gloved by Donahoe, the second baseman. Over to the right of the bag. And Mike Gupton has stolen a base. Get used to hearing that. 2 balls and 2 strikes. With Jake Holcroft, pretty much anything in the outfield will easily score Gupton. A slider up and in. Loads up the count. The first time the Mallards have had a full count since Canyon Brown back in the second. Third time this year for Holcroft in the leadoff spot. Here comes the 3-2. Swing and a line drive into center field. That'll be down in front of Pearson. Mike Gupton will be held at third base, which is a bit of a surprise, but it was because center fielder Dalton Pearson does have a really good arm, and that ball got out of the infield in a hurry. Jake Holcroft now on for a second time today. Got to take back what I said. Mike Gupton, with all the speed in the world, was held up at third base by Donnie Scott, and that was the right decision. That ball was laced by Holcroft into center field, and Pearson played it on just one hop. First pitch to Keenan Taylor is high. Mallards lead 2-1, top of the 4th inning from Wausau. Looking to even up this series, both in this 2-game set and across the season series, as Wausau leads it 2-1. A fastball just off the plate. Makes it 2-0. And we'll have a mound visit from Chris Wilsey. So Keenan Taylor will have a 2-0 count as the entirety of the infield will come together. The Mallards have runners on the corners, Gupton at third and Holcroft at first base in a 2-1 ball game. Chance to extend their lead. A very quick conversation. Mound visit adjourned. Travis Lutz will throw the ball into his glove on his left hand. He will toe the rubber from the first base side. Good lead off of first for Holcroft. Mike Gupton walks off third base. On 2-0 to Taylor. Big swing and a miss. And Keenan pretty much swung himself out of his helmet as he has to put that thing back on. 2 balls and a strike. The pitch from Lutz. Into the corner for strike 2. That's pretty much the same spot that Lutz missed with a fastball that likely should have been called a strike that made it 2-0. Here comes the break even from Lutz on 2-2, swinging a ground ball towards short. Easy play for Simon Sherry, and a strong throw to first base will do it in the top of the 4th inning. The lead remains 2-1. The Mallards strand 2 here on your home of Madison Mallards baseball. Bottom of the 4th inning from Athletic Park in Wausau, Wisconsin. Bottom 3rd for the Woodchucks. Schroeder, Baker, and Samuel. Will Simmons back to the bump for Madison in relief of Tommy Meyer. First pitch from Will is on the ground, back up the middle. The shortstop Kluska ranging to his left. Off balance throw is a little low, but caught by Goolsby. And an efficient first out for Will Simmons. Got to be a good feeling for that right arm of the freshman from North Carolina after his first inning of work included 3 full counts. He retired all 3, but the Woodchucks made him work for the minimum in the 3rd. Here is Jake Baker. First pitch he sees is a fastball, a 2-seam style, called for a strike. Second pitch, fastball up and in. That spins Baker out of the way, and the lefty has evened up the count 1-1. From the University of Kansas, the Jayhawk made his debut back-to-back with Jake English last night. On 1-1, that's into the air and foul down the left field side. Well out of play. Will slowly step back up to the mound. A slight bend at the waist, then comes set. Exactly perpendicular to the plate. And delivers home. A fastball just misses the corner. It's 2-2. A good time to check on the out-of-town scoreboard. Across the Northwoods League as Battle Creek trails Traverse City in the bottom of the 9th inning. The Battle Jacks looking to rally. A fastball high. And now the count is full. 4 out of the 5 batters that Will Simmons has seen have run it full. Here comes the 3-2. Fastball just inside to Jake Baker. And after the Mallards had retired 5 consecutive, including 3 Ks, Baker is on board his second walk of the day. And in fact, his second walk out of a full count, the first one to Tommy Meyer in the 35-pitch second inning. Battle Creek down at 3-8, looking to rally in the bottom of the 9th inning. First pitch to Vincent Samuel is a called strike on the outside part of the plate. Lakeshore traveled to Kalamazoo, both teams at 6-5. Lakeshore hitting the ball well today, 10 hits. They lead at 5-3 in the bottom of the 7th over in Michigan. On 0-1, there's a slider loaned away. Kenosha has simply not been playing very good baseball. Thought that maybe the walk-off against Madison 2 nights ago would ignite that team. They currently trail 5-0 at the hands of the Jackrabbits in Kokomo, bottom of the 7th inning. Fastball up and away, 2 balls and 1 strike with the 9-hole hitter Vincent Samuel. Top of the order, Dalton Pearson waits his turn. Rochester currently shutting out the cross, top of the 4th inning. As Samuel into center field, long run for Holcroft. He will glove it on 1 hop. It's a single for Vincent Samuel. 2 base runners on with just 1 out, and here comes the top of the order, Dalton Pearson. Rochester off to a strong start this season. Currently no hitting lacrosse from Mayo Field. 9-2 start to the year for the Honkers. Mankato leading Wilmer right now from ISG Field. First pitch to Dalton Pearson is a ball with high. Cross-divisional matchup between Fond du Lac and Rockford. 1-0 Dock Spiders. They're all the way down in the basement of the Great Lakes West, looking to climb their way out. Pearson lays down a bunt. Simmons will go to first base, and a strong throw delivers the Mallards their second out of the frame. So the sacrifice bunt off the bat of Dalton Pearson will bring up Mike McGinnis, who is 0 for 2 today, and 2 runners in scoring position. The Woodchucks a chance to take their first lead. McGinnis a fly out to right field and a strikeout against Tommy Meyer. First at bat against Simmons. McGinnis and Donahoe, the 2 Woodchucks, yet to face off against Will. The first pitch to him. Fastball right down the middle for strike 1. Wisconsin Rapids has all of a sudden hit a stride, and Green Bay has hit a brick wall. 3-0 lead, Rafters in the bottom of the 4th inning from historic Whitterfield. On 0-1, another perfect fastball makes it 0-2. A quick step ahead of Michael McGinnis for Will Simmons. Thunder Bay in their first year back in the league. They lead the Huskies of Duluth 8-5 from Port Arthur Stadium in Canada. The 0-2 slider off the plate now. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Runners on second and third. Baker is off third. He walked. Samuel at second base, his single put him on board. Here comes the 1-2 from Will Simmons. A slider in the ground towards second. Fielded cleanly by Sprock. His first chance today. A good throw over to first base. And the Woodchucks will leave 2 on base. Job well done by Will Simmons. in a 2-1 ball game from Athletic Park here on your home of Madison Mallards baseball. Two-one lead for the Mallards from Athletic Park in Wausau, Wisconsin. New pitcher for the Woodchucks, taking over for right-handed starter Travis Lutz, is the big right-hander Alex Breckheimer. This is Brock Moss's guy. 2 appearances on the year, 8 2/3 innings. Just 4 hits, 2 walks. He has punched out 5. Ryan Sprock will dig in for the Mallards to lead off the top of the 5th inning. Leading by 1 run, Breckheimer comes home, and Sprock climbs the ladder, swinging at strike 1. In the second game of the season for both clubs and the second matchup of the year between the two teams, Madison and Wausau, fastball in 1-1. Breckheimer was locked down, 5 1/3, 2 hits, 2 strikeouts, no runs, no walks. Here comes the 1-1 pitch, and Sprock swings at another high fastball to fall behind 1-2. Two strikeouts today for Sprock, both of them against Lutz. On 1-2, a fastball is way high, got over the glove of Schroeder. And Matt Beaver, a late foul ball call. So the count is 1-2 still against Breckheimer for Ryan Sprock. A fastball away at 89 miles an hour, high 80s. But it looks a lot harder from Breckheimer because he comes from straight over the top. His body a bit bent, his left shoulder a little bit closer to home plate than the rest of his body. A ground ball towards second. A weird hop for Donahoe, but fields it cleanly. And Sprock is put away. All 3 runs in this ball game coming in the second inning. Madison 2, Wausau 1. Here is Owen Jackson for the Mallards. The 2, 3, 4 spot in the order for the Mallards today have been, well, the weak point so far for the offense as Jackson takes a fastball high. Every other Mallard outside of those spots, excluding Mikey Kluska, as Jackson swats off the 1-0. It's 1-1. Kluska a line out and a strikeout down in the 8 hole. But 2, 3, 4, and 8 have been the Mallards to not reach tonight. Holcroft has been on twice, Brown on twice, Goolsby once, Jackson twice, Gupton twice. On 1-1, Jackson a big swing and a foul ball up into the air and foul. 2-0 record on the year across those 8 2/3 for Breckheimer. On 1-2, there is a curveball away. Now 2 balls and 2 strikes with Owen Jackson. Big frame, 6'5", 245. Hometown of Chilton, Wisconsin. The break even comes home and Jackson fouls it off back to the screen. A ground out to second and a pop out to third base for Owen today. Breckheimer from the windup into his motion, kicks and deals. A 2-2 on the ground towards second. Will be a tough play for the second baseman, Donahoe, and the throw to first base is just there in time to punch out Jackson by a step. He raced to his right, fielded it on a backhand, and threw off balance to first base. That's good-looking stuff for the second baseman, Donahoe. One of one today, Canyon Brown, with a walk and a run scored, and the single in the third. First pitch to him is a fastball, outside corner for strike one. The Mallards in those all aqua blue road uniforms today, with the cheese piping in the yellow coloring on the trim of the jerseys as Canyon puts one into the air center field. Routine depth for Pearson as he ranges over to his left, calls off McGinnis. And the Mallards, in 1-2-3 fashion, go down in the fifth. Still holding on to a 2-1 lead from Athletic Park in Wausau as we head to the bottom half of the fifth inning on near home of Madison Mallards baseball. Madison protecting a 2-1 lead, but Wausau coming to the plate in the bottom of the fifth inning. Hey, fans, get ready for Women's Summer Collegiate Softball. Northwoods League Softball is beginning play in the summer of 2024. Find out more about Northwoods League Softball at northwoodsleague.com/softball. Follow them on Twitter at NWL Softball. Donahoe, Witter, Sherry for the Woodchucks in the bottom of the fifth inning. 2-1 Madison lead, looking to rebound after the heartbreaking loss a night ago. Loaded the bases in the bottom of the ninth inning after tying the game at 3 apiece in the eighth. First pitch from Will Simmons, perfect pitch into the corner, two-seam fastball for strike one. Against Caesar Avila, a pop-out of Jackson Chatterton and a strikeout of Ryan Sprock retired the side, left him loaded. On 0-1, a tap shot towards third. Tough play for Taylor. An off-balance throw to first base, and that is a wonderful play by Keenan Taylor. Punched out by Matthew Metcalf at first base. Jake Goolsby's reach at the first base position was just enough. And indeed was there by half a step. That is good-looking stuff for Keenan Taylor. Donahoe just with a little cue shot to third base, and Taylor had to charge as fast as he could. Cleanup man, Brent Witter, first pitch to him, slider high. Then the two teams went to the 10th inning. A 3-run bomb against Rashad Ruff for Jake English. 1-0 was left high, about 2 balls width above the zone, 2-0. And then the bottom of the 10th inning came around. The Mallards pushed one across as Brock was the extra runner. 2-0 pitch from Simmons, slider into the outside corner for strike 1. 2 balls and a strike with the third baseman Witter. But then a strikeout of Jake Goolsby from Henschel ended the ball game on 2-1. Fastball called strike 2. The only issue with that 10th inning last night was that, well, the umpiring crew had an issue with the rules. As Will Simmons comes set with the 2-2 pitch with 1 away, bottom of the 5th inning. Fastball outside, 3-2. Brock Moss, the manager in his first season for Wausau, made a slow walk down to the plate and had a quick conversation with Alan Bryan. Behind the plate today is the crew chief, Matt Beaver, a slider. That's roped into center field and a single for Witter as Isaiah Jackson will glove it and relay it back into the infield. But Brock made the long walk down to the plate. All I saw was that he threw up a number 1. And I think he was asking whether or not there should be an out to begin the 10th inning. Everyone knows there's a runner on second base. That way these guys aren't out there for forever as Simon Sherry steps in. First pitch to him from Simmons. Fastball inside, 1-0. But Jaden Lobliner, the Mallards catcher, he had shouted out to his crew, there's 1 out. And Donnie Scott said, no, there's supposed to be 0. On 1-0, fastball high. Canyon Brown throws to first base, and the throw is just late. Sliding back in safe is Witter. And so the first base runner of that inning reached, and then Jake English hit the home run. The next batter walked. Then a line drive was hit to third base. Estevan Moreno caught it and threw to first base to end the inning. There's a foul ball. Now 2-1. Back to the screen from Sherry. And that ended the top of the 10th inning. The bases were clear, and Wausau should have had 1 more out to work with, because in the Northwoods League, nowhere in the rule book does it say you're supposed to put an out on the board. On 2-1, slider bounces into Canyon Brown. It bounces away from him. Brent Witter will move to second base on a wild pitch from Will Simmons. And the count is also now 3-1. So then the Mallards come to the plate in the bottom of the 10th inning. And now this affected both teams. It affected them equally. The Mallards happened to get the short end of the stick because they had runners on base, and the home run was hit by English. So with runners on first and second, Isaiah Jackson was on base, Lobliner was on base. Jake Goolsby struck out on what should have been the second out of the inning. And chaos kind of ensued after the game. Now count is 3-2 with Simon Sherry after the strike thrown by Simmons. Here comes the payoff from the freshman. On the ground right side, Jake Goolsby gloves it and will race to first base. So Simon Sherry moves Witter over to third. Mike Adair will step in, who is 1 for 2 this afternoon.
Now batting the left fielder, Mike Adair.
There were lots of things to be sorted through after the game between both clubs, the league, the umpiring crew, which was very apologetic. Matt Beaver took full responsibility for the error. And a lesson learned for everybody involved. The rulebook did not change. First pitch fastball, a called strike to the lefty swinger Mike Adair. No balls and a strike. A slightly offset stance for Adair, then comes completely set. There's a fly ball in the left field. Gupton chasing it. That'll drop in for a fair ball. That'll tie the ball game. It's 2-2 as Adair sprints into second base. Mike Gupton, with all the speed in the world, couldn't get there as it kicks up the chalk down the third base line. And this game is tied off the bat of Mike Adair. So Witter scores from third. Adair jogs into second base with a stand-up double. And Jacob Schroeder has a chance to give Wausau their first lead today. So the catcher Schroeder 0 for 1 with a walk in his first AB. Takes fastball outside. The Mallards have an arm getting loose down in the bullpen. A fastball right over the middle of the plate is called for a ball. Home plate umpire Matt Beaver says just a bit high. Second time that the Mallards have had Beaver in the last 4 ball games behind the plate calling balls and strikes on 2-0. Same exact spot, called for a strike, now 2-1. Two balls and a strike. Big lead off at second base for Adair. Fastball called, strike into the outside corner. Now 2-2 in the bottom of the 5th inning from Athletic Park in Wausau. 2-2 ball game. Simmons comes set, delivers home. Fastball high and away, loads it up. Will Simmons has now seen 6 different full counts run against him. The 3-2 was sliced foul down the right field side. In relief, Will Simmons has thrown more pitches than Tommy Meyer, the starter, today. The next one will be number 60. The 3-2 again. Fastball high, and he lost him. So here comes Sean Brown, the Mallards pitching coach, to have a quick chat with Will. Jake Baker has walked twice today, and he awaits the chance to bat against Simmons for a second time. Just Sean Brown, Canyon Brown, and Will Simmons on the mound. He will make his way back to the dugout. 2 base runners on for Wausau in the bottom of the 5th inning. So Will Simmons will now have to do battle with Jake Baker. First pitch to him, fastball high. Still some action down in the Mallards bullpen. It looks like Trent Simmons is getting loose for the Mallards. On 1-0. There's a slider low and in. Now 2 balls and no strikes with Jake Baker. Will comes set. 2 balls in the count. Comes home. Fastball in. Makes it 3-0. Will Simmons has somewhat lost his command in the bottom of the 5th inning. 2-2 ball game from Athletic Park. Wausau a chance to take their first lead. The lefty waits on 3-0 and takes strike 1. Cole Heath is the arm getting loose for the Mallards. On 3-1, a line drive into right field over the glove of Sprock. That'll score 1 run. All the way to third base goes Schroeder, and the Woodchucks have a 3-2 lead. Adair is in to score. Jake Baker singles him home. It's 3-2 Wausau. Just a few pitches between mound visits between Sean Brown and Donnie Scott heading out there. Will Simmons' day is done. Wausau looking to add even more. It's a 3-2 lead for the Woodchucks. Enter Cole Heath when we return on your home of Madison Mallards baseball. New pitcher for the Mallards. Now trailing 3-2 as Wausau has plated 2 in the bottom of the 5th inning to take the lead. The Mallards have turned to the 6'3" right-hander and native of Hendersonville, Tennessee, Cole Heath. The redshirt sophomore at Western Kentucky has pitched in 2 ball games for the Mallards, both in losses. His record 0-1 with just 1 2/3 innings pitched. 3 hits, 3 runs, all of them coming against Kenosha in the Kingfish walk-off winning, we'll call it a thriller the other night, a heartbreaker for the Mallards. A good ball game all around. Both teams kicked the ball around just a bit, but all around a good ball game from Kenosha. 9-hole hitter Vincent Samuel. First pitch to him is in the air, popped up. The Mallards infield should have this one. Kluska calls everyone off. Right behind the mound will finally make the catch as it continued to stay up in the clouds. And Cole Heath on 1 pitch gets the job done. The Mallards trailing 3-2 on your home of Madison Mallards baseball.
guests out there, give a big round of applause in the Sioux
Mallards coming back to the plate in the top of the 6th inning from Athletic Park in Wausau, Wisconsin. Both teams with 7 hits apiece, but Wausau able to grab the lead in the bottom of the 5th. Cole Heath entered for the Mallards through 1 pitch and got Vincent Samuel to pop out. So here's Jake Goolsby leading off for the Mallards against Alex Breckheimer. First pitch to Jake is up and in, almost nicked his elbow. 4 consecutive Mallards have been put down on the 1-0 pitch, fastball away to Jake. Before the Mallards returned home in that 18-4 blowout win over Kenosha, as Jake waits on 2-0, swings and misses. The Mallards had averaged 4.5 runs per game on that 6-game road trip in which they went 2-4. Breckheimer on his 2-1, fastball up and away. Good count for Goolsby at 3-1. Only 2 base runners allowed for the Mallards in 5 1/3. The first time that Breckheimer faced off against Madison. A swing and a foul back to the screen loads up the count. The 4th full count today for a Mallard at the plate. Breckheimer into his motion on 3-2. Ball 4, Jake Goolsby with the leadoff walk. The first walk for Madison since the 2nd inning when Canyon Brown was issued a free pass. Isaiah Jackson is 2 for 2 with an RBI back in the 2nd inning. Madison trailing 3-2 from Athletic Park in Wausau. First pitch to him, and he takes fastball in, called for a strike. It's 0-1. Put together a strong freshman season at Arizona State. On 0-1, takes off the plate 1-1. The lefty pretty much hovered in the low 200s for a while and then raised his batting average up a tad in the middle of conference play in the Pac-12. Hit for good power, waits on the 1-1. Now 2-1, fastball in the same exact spot. Brock Moss tends to trust Alex Breckheimer as their stud-long reliever. No one up in the bullpen for now. Don't expect there to be for the next little while. Now 3-1. Breckheimer, 3 consecutive fastballs have missed the zone, this time inside. And that will prompt a mound visit from Schroeder. Just Schroeder and Breckheimer out on the mound. That first game for Breckheimer out of the bullpen for Brock Moss, in the 2nd game of the year for both clubs in Game 2 of that opening series. That was just tremendous stuff on 3-2. An elevated fastball will lose Jackson, and the Mallards, they have their first 2 base runners on here in the top of the 6th inning. The third baseman, Witter, will take a few steps in towards the infield grass. He is a little closer to home than he is even to the bag at third. Kluska will wave his bat out twice towards Breckheimer. Now a 3rd time and a 4th time. Potential for a bunt here. First pitch is back up the middle. And it'll get past the shortstop, Sherry. It's somehow squeezed through, and Kluska has just enough muscle. Just enough muscle for Mikey Kluska to put it through the infield. Bases loaded, nobody out for the Madison offense in the 6th.
Left fielder
So now Mike Gupton, a chance to give the Mallards the lead, or at least tie this ball game. Breckheimer's first pitch to Mike is a bouncing ball towards third. Charging the third baseman, Witter. He will throw home. There's no chance to get Gupton at first base. So the second fielder's choice of the day for Michael Gupton is a 5-2. And now the top of the order, Jake Holcroft. This currently feels like a deja vu situation for the Mallards. With last night loading the bases, a chance to walk off with just one out. And they went down in order. Jake Holcroft taps one foul down the first baseline. More life for the Mallards, starting right fielder this afternoon in his fourth at-bat. Been on base twice today. He reached in the second inning on catcher's interference, which is an error on the catcher. And then he singled in the fourth. Trailing by one, top of the sixth inning. Bases loaded, one out. On 0-1, makes it 0-2 on a fastball that's outside. That's pretty much where Jake Holcroft lives, though. Anything on the outside part of the plate for this lefty. Got to make some kind of contact here against Breckheimer. On 0-2. And he fouls it off back behind the plate. Christian Clack gets loose for the Woodchucks down in their bullpen. Beyond the fence in left field. The right foot slightly in front of the left for the left-handed bat of Holcroft. He waits on the 0-2. Fastball up and away. 1-2. Isaiah Jackson is off third. Mikey Kluska at second, and Mike Gupton at first. Trailing by one. 1-2 with Holcroft. Breckheimer comes home, and there's a breaking ball away. That's the changeup. As Breckheimer, after the pitch, he noticed it was going to miss right away. He stepped in front of the mound and made a motion with his hand to show more pronation off of his right hand. Bringing your thumb to the ground. On 2-2, Holcroft waits for Breckheimer. The pitch comes home, and he swats it off. The manager for Wausau, Brock Moss, will jog behind home plate, grab the ball. Holcroft battling here against Breckheimer. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And again, the 2-2 is up into the air and foul. Down into the stands on the third base side, up into about row 12 of what we'll call double-decker seating. The suites right behind home plate range from about halfway down the third baseline all the way down to halfway down the first baseline. And in the middle of a count, Brock Moss is going to go to the bullpen. He left the dugout and immediately pointed down to go get the lefty Christian Clack. So they're going to opt for lefty on lefty in a 2-2 count when we come back. 3-2, the Mallards threatening. In the top of the sixth inning, Wausau in front on your home of Madison Mallards baseball. Top of the 6th inning from Athletic Park in Wausau. The Mallards have the bases loaded, and Brock Moss, the first-year manager for the Wausau Woodchucks, has opted to go to the bullpen in a 2-2 count with one away in a big situation in this ball game. The new arm for Wausau is the lefty from UAB, Alabama at Birmingham, Christian Clack. The native of Tulsa, Oklahoma. He has thrown against Madison this year. 4 walks, struck out 2, 3 hits, 2 earned runs over 2 2/3. This now his 4th game of the year. Jake Holcroft in a 2-2 count. Bases loaded. Waits on the pitch from Clack, freshly out of the pen, and he fouls it off. Fastball right over the head of Brock Moss in the third base dugout. A big spot in this ball game. Alex Breckheimer has departed. Christian Clack has entered. Lefty on lefty was the decision for Brock Moss. On 2-2. Swing and a miss. He puts down Holcroft. And after the Mallards loaded the bases with nobody out, a fielder's choice against Mike Gupton and now a strikeout of Jake Holcroft have put 2 outs on the scoreboard in right field. Here is Keenan Taylor. Bases loaded, trailing by 1. First pitch from Clack is fouled off right side. The junior for the Blazers on the season now, 6 innings, an ERA of 4.5 and a whip of just under 2. The 1-strike pitch. Swing and a miss. Over at third base, Isaiah Jackson. Mikey Kluska on second. Mike Gupton on first. Middle of the rubber for Christian Clack. Comes set down at the belt. On 0-2 to Keenan Taylor. Comes home. And he K's him. Into the outside corner. The Mallards do not score after loading the bases with nobody out. 3-2 lead for Wausau when we come back on your home of Madison Mallards baseball. Bottom of the 6th inning from Athletic Park in Wausau, Wisconsin. Cole Heath is back to work. The Mallards offense squandered another golden opportunity in the top of the 6th inning. First pitch fastball from Heath misses high to the leadoff man, Dalton Pearson. Pearson, McGinnis, Donahoe. From the windup, Cole Heath delivers home, and a fastball is tapped foul. The Mallards defense plays Pearson straight up. Relatively deep depth for the outfielders, trailing 3-2. On 1-1. There's a line drive towards short. Kluska gloves it, somehow gathers it, and he looks over to the third base umpire, said he caught the ball. And the umpire, Alan Bryan, who messed up last night's ball game, said it was not a catch. I'm pretty sure that that ball did bounce under the glove of Kluska. It was a good effort. So the scoreboard might not show it, but both teams tonight are hitting the ball well. Wausau has 9 hits, but just 3 runs to show for it. Madison has 7 hits with 2 runs to show. Michael McGinnis. There's a shot into center field over the head of Sprock. Isaiah Jackson will glove and throw back to the infield. First 2 men on for Wausau. 3 pitches and 2 base runners for the Woodchucks.
Now batting the second baseman, Jesse Donahoe.
Trouble brewing for the Mallards from Athletic Park. Madison trails at 3-2. Left-handed swinging Donahoe digs in. No action down in the Mallards bullpen as Cole Heath comes set. Just at the belt. Comes home. Fastball, a called strike. Michael Gupton, a fielder's choice with the bases loaded for out number 1. Holcroft, a swing and a miss. With a pitching change in the middle of his AB. And that's a bunt down. Canyon Brown will go to third base, and the catcher with the highest IQ of almost any player on the team, as Donnie Scott said, rifles a throw to third base, and he does a fantastic job. That'll be a 2-5 fielder's choice. Dalton Pearson will be off the base paths as Canyon Brown gathered himself, peeked at the runner between second and third, and made a strong throw right to the chest of Keenan Taylor. Here is Brent Witter. Fastball low, makes it 1-0. One ball in the count to Brent Witter. Heath comes home. Fastball low and in, scooped up nicely by Canyon Brown. At one point, Donnie Scott did compare Canyon Brown with Josh Caron a year ago. Now, you could expect a lot of power from Josh Caron. He led the Mallards in home runs a season ago. Fantastic spring at Nebraska, now plays in the Cape Cod League. Fastball right down Broadway for strike 1. He said Canyon's defense is just a little bit better than Josh Caron's, and he wished that Canyon's offense would get there too as he tried to steal a strike away from Witter. It's now 3-1 on an outside fastball. Simon Sherry waits on deck. The 3-1 from Heath. That's popped up back behind home plate and foul. Two runners on base for Wausau. 3-2 lead for the Woodchucks. Would be a game the Mallards really want to have. They take their leadoffs on 3-2. Fastball nowhere close. Way outside, Brent Witter on board for a third time tonight. Well, let's see if the Mallards can do what the Woodchucks were able to do and strand the bases loaded. The Mallards have left them loaded offensively 2 different times today. The Woodchucks left them loaded back in the second inning. With the bases loaded, Simon Sherry steps in. First pitch from Cole Heath is back up the middle on a single. Isaiah Jackson will field it. He will throw all the way to the plate. Potential force-out play. Canyon Brown is on the plate. A force-out call at home. Brock Moss immediately down to the plate to have a long chat with Matt Beaver. Canyon Brown reached out. He was not on the plate. Isaiah Jackson, the throw came all the way home. And Matt Beaver, who is to the right of Canyon Brown, said that his foot was somehow on the plate. And boos rained down on the umpiring crew from Wausau. So that's a fielder's choice you've likely never seen. First pitch low and in to Mike Adair. I mean, wow. An 8-2 fielder's choice is how that'll be scored on a force out. The 1-0 from Heath. Swinging a ground ball foul down the right field side. Wow. So Donahoe's at third, Brent Witter is second, and Simon Sherry is at first base on what should have been an RBI single to make it a 4-2 ball game. The 1-ball, 1-strike pitch. And that one's fouled off over the overhang on the third base side. A big out to get for Cole Heath in the bottom of the 6th inning. The Hilltopper from Western Kentucky. Bases loaded. 1-2 count. Comes set at the belt. Comes home. And a breaking ball is just high. Two balls and 2 strikes. As Heath delivers again. On the ground, left side. Tough play for Kluska. That'll sneak through. The left fielder, Gupton, will rise to his feet, throw to the plate on a couple of hops. 2 runs will score, and Wausau's lead is 5-2. A single for Mike Adair scores 2, and Wausau has a 3-run lead. Simon Sherry moves to second, Adair at first. And the first pitch from Heath is rolled on to second. Brock Fields, a lazy throw to first base. That'll put away Schroeder. 5-2 Wausau on your home of Madison Mallards baseball. Top of the 7th inning from Athletic Park in Wausau. Christian Clack goes back to work. The Mallards have some work to do As now they trail it 5-2. Cole Heath allowed 2 runs in a, we'll call it controversial, bottom of the 6th inning. Wausau has scored 4 unanswered. The Mallards offense has been asleep since the 2nd. First pitch fastball, a called strike to Ryan Sprock. Sprock, Owen Jackson, and Canyon Brown. On 0-1, fastball low and in. The Mallards, they loaded the bases in the top of the 6th inning. Goolsby walked. Isaiah Jackson walked. Mikey Kluska singled. On 1-1, Sprock takes a swing and fouls it off, 1-2. And then after the base is loaded, Mike Gupton rolled into a fielder's choice to the third baseman. He was safe at first, and then Jake Holcroft struck out after a pitching change mid-AB. Keenan Taylor then struck out backwards. On 1-2 to Sprock, fastball is thrown to the backstop. Christian Clack had asked for a new baseball, and I think the one that he had before that likely would have worked a little bit better than the one that he threw to the netting. So it's now 2-2 with Sprock in a 3-run ball game. Comes home, swing and a miss. Ryan Sprock has been struck out 3 times today, twice by the starter Lutz and now once by Clack. And all 3 batters that have seen Christian Clack have been punched out. Here's the DH Owen Jackson. He's 0 for 3 today. 2 bounce outs to the second baseman and a pop out to the third baseman. First pitch to him, breaking ball low and away. It's 1-0. Clack comes set from the third base side of the rubber on 1-0. That's low and in, and Owen Jackson twists out of the way. 2 balls and no strikes. Owen taps on the plate 1 time. Clack comes set. Stares in, delivers home, and Owen takes the fastball for a called strike 1. Two-one in the count. The pitch home to Owen again is now 3-1. Another fastball low. Lots of fastballs from Christian Clack. Has whipped in the slider a couple of times. Clack raises his leg. A big swing. And a foul. Off the bat of Owen Jackson, loads it up. Brock Moss was hot with the home plate umpire and crew chief of this staff, Matt Beaver. Somehow kept enough composure to not be tossed in this game as Owen Jackson slices this one into left field. Back goes Adair, and he'll glove it a few steps in front of the track. Now 0 for 4 tonight, Owen Jackson. Here comes Canyon. Lengthy ball game tonight from Athletic Park. A lot faster than last night's game. They even went into extra innings. First pitch fastball up and away. The Woodchucks have 12 hits compared to the Mallards 7. The score is 5-2. Wausau on top. The 1-0 pitch is right down the middle. Now 1-1 with Canyon Brown. 2 away in the top of the 7th inning. The Mallards have 7 outs to work with, trailing by 3 runs. Wausau has scored 5 unanswered. 1-1 is another called strike. This one a little lower to make it 1-2. Good-sized crowd on hand from Athletic Park this afternoon. First place Woodchucks look to move to 8-4. A slider is one that doesn't sweep very much to make it 2-2. Canyon doing the catching today for Madison. Waits on the 2-2. Pitch comes home, a swing and a miss on a big rip from Canyon Brown. And Christian Clack has struck out 4 in 5 batters faced. It's 5-2 Wausau on your home of Madison Mallards baseball. Five-2 Wausau, all stretched out from Athletic Park in Wausau, Wisconsin. Jake Baker, Vincent Samuel, and Dalton Pearson against the Mallards 6'5" right-hander from North Alabama, Will Morris. The first pitch from Will, fastball, just a touch low. This lefty for Wausau today has been on board all 3 times he has come to the plate. Fastball clips the corner for strike 1. 2 walks, both out of full counts, and an RBI single in the 5th. Will Morris on 1-1. There's a big hack from the Kansas Jayhawk, Jake Baker. He'll take a long walk back behind Canyon Brown and behind home plate umpire Matt Beaver, and dig back in. Morris comes set with the 1-2, delivers home. Fastball bounces into Canyon. The break even for Morris. That's another fastball low and in to fill it up. Final stat line for Cole Heath, 1 1/3. 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk. That's on the ground towards second. Long run for the second baseman, Sprock. He will even his shoulders, make the throw to first base. And Jake Baker will sit down for the first out.
Now batting the designated hitter, Vincent Samuel.
Will Morris has gotten off to a good start this season for the Mallards out of the bullpen. First pitch to 9-hole hitter Vincent Samuel, slider away. Now pitching in his 4th game of the year. The last time we saw Will was in the 18-4 win over Kenosha. 1 inning, 3 batters faced, none of them were able to reach. Fastball just a touch low as Canyon Brown held that glove out in the strike zone for an extra moment. Morris set with 2-0. There's a line shot, foul down the third base line by just a few feet. Morris has completed 4 innings, only 1 earned run allowed. In all 3 games that Will has pitched in so far for the Northsiders, the Mallards have won all 3. This game marking the first time he has pitched with a deficit. 2-1 pitch is a called fastball. Now 2 balls and 2 strikes, and the big right-hander immediately back to the rubber. Morris bent over at the waist, holds the glove up towards his left shoulder. Then comes set, rotated back towards second base. On 2-2, fastball, not even close. A large amount of chalk kicks up as the fastball landed in the left-handed batter's box. And another full count. Morris comes home, that's slapped into right field. This ball's trouble into the corner. Holcroft makes his way over and will make the catch just at the foul line down the right field side.
Now batting the center fielder, Dalton Pearson.
Will Morris only signed on a temporary contract with the Madison Mallards, looking to earn himself a spot as a full-time guy with this team. Lineup card flips over. Dalton Pearson takes strike 1 on a changeup from Will Morris. Works middle of the rubber and then comes set in his own way on 0-1. Back up the middle. Mikey Kluska ranging to his left and off bounds throw to first base. Just gets Dalton Pearson with a lot of speed running down the first base line. Will Morris faces the minimum of Woodchucks in the 7th. And Wausau still holding on to their 5-2 lead from Athletic Park in Wausau, Wisconsin, on your home of Madison Mallards baseball. Top of the 8th inning, 6 outs to work with for the Madison offense.
All right, fans, because we got
They trail this ball game by 3 runs as the Woodchucks have scored 5 unanswered after the Mallards plated 2 in the top of the 2nd inning. First baseman Jake Goolsby leads off against Christian Clack. First pitch fastball just off the plate. Boy, has Christian Clack been good over his 1 2/3 Second pitch, fastball. That locates the strike zone, and it's 1-1. He entered in a 2-2 count against leadoff man Jake Holcroft as Goolsby shatters his bat. And the shortstop, Sherry, will make the catch. Goolsby put down in the top of the 8th inning, and here comes the two-hole hitter. Isaiah Jackson, playing out in center field, donning number 2. Isaiah was on third base for a long time during the strikeout of Jake Holcroft, and that entire duration of time, we'll call it, when Brock Moss decided to go to the bullpen from Alex Breckheimer to Christian Clack. Isaiah fouled off the first pitch. And, well, it worked out. Alex Breckheimer, who threw 5 1/3 of no-run baseball against the Mallards on May 30th, as Isaiah takes strike 2, went to the bench. Moss trusted his bullpen and Christian Clack, who has pitched one time against the Mallards this year. And he has punched out 5. There's a line drive through the gap on the right side, and Isaiah Jackson continues his good day at the plate. He is 3 for 3, and he's been on base all 4 times. That's a game that Isaiah has needed to have. A breakthrough game for the Mallards freshman from Arizona State. See if the bottom of the Mallards order can get anything done. Mikey Kluska. First pitch to him. Fastball away. Mikey 1 of 3 today. He singled in the 6th inning. Had enough muscle to juice one through the gap between Sherry and Donahoe up the middle. There's a ground ball towards third. Scooped up nicely by Witter. The relay to Donahoe, and the throw to first base will make it a 5-4-3. Look what I found for the Woodchucks third baseman. Puts away the side in the 8th inning. 5-2 Wausau on your home of Madison Mallards baseball. Bottom of the 8th inning from Athletic Park in Wausau, Wisconsin, here on your home of Madison Mallards baseball. The Northwoods League is proud to partner with the authentic Stadium Mustard this season. For over 50 years, Stadium Mustard has been offered at stadiums, ballparks, and arenas coast to coast, and the Mallards are proud to be serving Stadium Mustard back at home at Warner Park. Loved by millions, Stadium Mustard. Crowd of well over 1,000 today from Athletic Park in Wausau, Wisconsin. Two, 3, 4 against Will Morris for Wausau. A swing and a miss for Michael McGinnis. The right fielder, and then Jesse Donahoe and Brent Witter for Brock Moss's crew. On 0-1, fastball perfectly into the corner, and it's 0-2. Christian Clack has been locked down for Wausau out of the bullpen. On 0-2, there's a called strike 3, a beauty of a fastball from Will Morris. A 3-pitch K, backward style. That is the first strikeout for the Mallards pitching staff since the final out in the bottom of the 3rd inning against Mike Adair. Three-hole hitter Donahoe. First pitch to him. Fastball, swing and a miss, outside part of the plate. Tipped it right into the glove of Mallards catcher Canyon Brown. 5-2 lead for Wausau. 5 unanswered runs. The Mallards scored the first 2 of this ball game in the 2nd inning, but have thrown up zeros since. Down to their final 3 outs. Got to take care of the Wausau offense first. There's a fly ball into center field. Isaiah Jackson started in, will retreat and make the catch about 10 steps from the warning track. Now the cleanup man, Brent Witter. He's been on base 3 times today. 2 for 3. The only out was a sharp ground ball to third base. His last 2 ABs, he ended up coming around to score. So he's a part of the difference right now. Will Morris, perfect pitch for strike 1, delivers strike 2 on a foul ball over the right side. Will, one of the fastest workers in this Mallards pitching staff. Quickly ahead 0-2. Comes home. Fastball way outside. Made him think about it, but Brent Witter laid off. Redshirt junior from Evansville. On 1-2. That's into the air right side. And in shallow right field, Ryan Sprock 180s and puts it away. The Mallards, they need 3 in the top of the 9th inning, looking to avoid a sweep against the Wausau Woodchucks here at Athletic Park in Wausau on your home of Madison Mallards baseball. Well, why not for Brock Moss? Stick with Christian Clack. The left-hander from UAB has been nails for the Wausau Woodchucks, leading the division at 7-4. They are 3 outs away from improving from 7-4 to 8-4 and increasing their lead over the Mallards from 2 games to 3. Gupton, Holcroft, Taylor, 9-1-2. First pitch is a fastball that rides in low. That last pitch was number 30 for Clack. On 1-0, Gupton checks his swing, and it will roll foul down the first base line. Just 1 hit. The only base runner for the Mallards against this lefty. 4 strikeouts. Struck out 4 of his first 5 batters faced. On 1-1, Gup takes away. Now 2 balls and a strike. And the top of the 9th inning from Athletic Park in Wausau. The Woodchucks leading it 5-2. Gupton waits on the 2-1. Comes home, a swing and a miss. Mike has been on all 3 times today, but he's 1 for 3, a single in the second, which scored the second run for the Mallards in that inning. And then 2 fielder's choice. On 2-2, Gupton puts it into the air right field, and the center fielder Pearson will come over into right center and make the catch. Here comes leadoff man Jake Holcroft. First pitch to Jake, swing and a miss. Jake was the batter at the plate when Christian Clack entered. In a 2-2 count, they went from Breckheimer to Clack as Clack misses with fastball up and into the letters to make it 1-1. It was an odd change, but in the long run, it worked out for Brock Moss. They went from righty to lefty against this lefty Holcroft, and on 1-1, he takes strike 2. Holcroft fouled one off and then struck out swinging on a fastball up and in. Clack looking for another K on 1-2. A slider outside makes it 2 balls and 2 strikes. Wausau looking for a sweep of Madison. The 2-2 pitch low and in. Jake Holcroft has loaded the count. Just the second full one for Christian Clack against these Mallards bats. Here comes the payoff, and it's swatted off by Holcroft. Another late swing. There will be about a week-and-a-half pause in games between the Mallards and Woodchucks as Holcroft lines this one down the left field line and into the seats foul. Today's game marks the first of 4 consecutive being played here at Athletic Park between these 2 clubs. The Mallards will come here for a doubleheader on June 21st. And then in July, on the 8th, will be the next time they come up here to Wausau. The Mallards will then play 3 consecutive at Warner Park. And then to end the regular season, a home-and-home series with the Woodchucks. Here comes the 3-2. Holcroft, another foul ball. Lined down the third base side. Tomorrow the Mallards begin a home-and-home series with the Lakeshore Chinooks. First pitch tomorrow scheduled for 4:05 p.m. And then the day after, up in Mequon after the Mallards were swept by the Chinooks. Just this past week, a 1:05 earlier start against the Fish. Here comes a 3-2. That's a called strike 3 into the outside corner. And things just don't slow down for Christian Clack. The 5th punch out of the day brings up Keenan Taylor as the potential final out in this ball game. Christian Clack set with the first pitch. Keenan Taylor waits on it, and a fastball rides away. Keenan will foul off the 1-0, back behind home plate to make it 1-1. 5 runs on 11 hits, 2 errors tapped against the Wausau Woodchucks tonight. 2 runs on 8 hits, no errors for the Mallards for the first time this season. On 1-1, Back up the middle, a high chop. The shortstop on a 360 to throw to first base from Sherry is there in time. And the Wausau Woodchucks have swept the Mallards, a final score of 5-2. Wausau scores 5 unanswered runs, and they don't even need a bottom of the 9th inning. The Mallards have now lost 6 of their last 8 ball games. And it's a tale of 2 different stories for the Madison Mallards. They play really, really well, or they don't. And that was the case again here tonight. Final line score one more time. Wausau wins it 5-2 as they out-hit the Mallards 11-8. First errorless game of the season for the team with the worst fielding percentage in the Northwoods League for the Madison Mallards. And 2 against Wausau. Christian Clack was locked down at the end of this game for the Woodchucks. His final stat line this afternoon, 3 2/3. 1 hit, struck out 5 in what was a pretty copy-paste performance from what we saw from Alex Breckheimer the first time the Mallards came to Athletic Park. Wausau improves to 8-4. They will stick around in first place in the Great Lakes West, and the Mallards, the gap gets even bigger. It's now at 3 games, as the team has played 12 already this season. Mallards now down at 5-7. Final score one more time this afternoon as we sign off from the Athletic Park broadcast booth. My name is Zach Glenfield. 5-2 Wausau winners. You're on your home of Madison Mallards baseball.